I think it's time for another episode of Beyond the Covers.
We'll be going through FF number 2, a classic. Everybody knows why. Marvel Tales number 1. Let me get this light off. This is horrible. That's a little better. Marvel Tales number 1. It's got crazy stuff going on in here. First major reprint series, I believe, for Marvel. And I'll tell you why. That's one of the reprints that I'm really excited about. And we're going to count this as one. I'm only going to go into one, but I just want to show you that I have all three because I hadn't read any of it. I got it from this recent thrift shop haul. And I'm going to show you my favorite one for the interior art from the lot, which is Red Sonja number 5. So let's get to it. First, I'll let you learn about it as I first learned about it when I first saw the cover. This requires a bit of reading. Got to read here, people. A little bit of reading. And that photo on the inside is really cool with the first Iron Man, even though they show him here in his new suit, just so you don't get confused. It's too early on, you know, so they can't show Iron Man in his original gold suit. People wouldn't recognize him. They wouldn't know who it is, let alone realize that that's the now iconic original image of Iron Man, right? So let's get into it. I'm not going to spend too much time on the interior on this one, even though this is a little bit odd for me to be doing with the book on the covers, because these are the origin stories for all these characters, man, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys who haven't read it. Finding these and reading the origin stories for the major Silver Age Marvel heroes is some of the most fun reading you can have, I think. Having fun with his new powers here, using his web shooter at this point. Pretty funny. He's supposed to be using this perfume bottle here. Somehow has enough to squirt out that mechanism of the perfume bottle. The puffer has enough power to squirt out his web shooter webs, and that's what he attaches to his arms. Basically, he hijacks a perfume bottle. Gotta love this hokey early Silver Age Marvel stuff, huh? And we've got all these other origin stories too. Hulk, you know, there he is, the Gray Hulk, as he originally appeared. Ant-Man, Tales to Astonish number 35. This is all in a 1964 book, man. It's pretty cool. Sergeant Fury. Here it is. Here's this Meet the Gang in the early Marvel bullpen. Their fearless answer to those who claim that they're Martians. We got Martin Goodman. Look at Stan there. There he is. With his top hat. So these people I don't know. Dick Ayers, Brodsky, Vince Coletta. I love this stuff, man. This page right here is probably my favorite part of this book, to be honest. Stan G. I don't know who that is. Oh, Giordano, maybe? Stan Giordano? Don Heck. Look at Don Heck here. So funny to me. Oh, there he is. Hello, Mr. Kirby. God, he's so straight, man. I don't know how else to put it. To me, Jack Kirby is just so street, as far as comic creators go, at least. So hardcore. Love Jack Kirby for who he was, almost as much as I love him for the art that he produced. Larry Lieber. That's Stanley's brother or uncle? I always forget which. Joe Orlando. Sam Rosen. Paul Ryman. You know, these are familiar names. Artie Simheck, Chickstone. These are familiar names to those of us who like the Marvel Silver Age. Look at this. And now we present our ever-loving glamour department. So sexist. So sexist. Oh, man. And all the women are doing things like overseas mailings, student surveys, corresponding secretary, Gal Friday. Yeah. Those were the 60s, man. That was the 60s. There we got Iron Man is Born, reprint of TOS 39. Lots of good stuff in one comic, huh? Lots of good stuff. For those of you who haven't read these original stories, this is a great way to do it. and feel like you're really getting in touch with the time too. You know, you're not buying like a reprint from 2000 era. You're buying something from the 60s. Yes, it's a reprint, but hey, man, you know, this is very cool stuff if you ask me. Then we got Journey into Mystery. So much good stuff. And they're advertising. You can see us all in our own mags now. What a way for Marvel to advertise, right? To those who had missed the beginning. Saying if you missed the beginning, here's a quick way to catch up, get the Crypt Notes, and you can jump on board with what all your friends are reading. These crazy Marvel mags. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, next, I guess we'll go on to the Red Sonja, and then the FF number 2. So, great artwork. Story about Red Sonja, a princess in the age of Conan who basically goes around in the world of men. And this is a world similar to, you know, fantasy, medieval times sort of world. Similar to Conan's world. She battles things like bear gods that stalk the night. Reminds me a little bit of Swamp Thing type artwork. And I started paying more attention to female artwork in comics. John Romita is one of the really great ones, if you ask me, at drawing females. But this guy right here, I'd never heard of before. Look at what he's doing here, man. I think this is just really amazing stuff that I was not expecting to find. Now, maybe part of the reason why I found it so amazing was because I wasn't expecting to find it, but look at how detailed it is. Even this panel is just crammed with stuff happening. I'm trying to hold this as still as I can because it's really not even that big of a panel, as you can see. There's just a lot happening there, and this is I really wasn't expecting this kind of quality, man, but this is Frank Thorne, who I was unfamiliar with until now. Bruce Jones is doing the writing. I didn't know him either. And it's an alright story. Basically, I like the parts of the story. I would say the best writing happens when Red Sonja is standing up to guys who are either trying to literally rape her or just tease her and give her a hard time. She basically always gets the better of them. She's a kick-ass female. Look at her here in the tavern. She teaches this guy a lesson for trying to flirt with her. In this story, it basically starts off with these guys fighting over Red Sonja, and she's laughing because she knows something that they don't, which is that she's not going to have any of them. So she just keeps drinking her beer while she's fighting them. Like I said, a badass female. And great artwork throughout. Really great stuff. Another artist I'm going to have to check out now, man. The more I read, the more artists I find. Thorne, one I was not familiar with. The more I read, the more artists I find that I'm interested in. I was watching look at this artwork. I was watching a video this morning from ETA Nick where he was talking about I think he said the first 3 to 5 years or so of his collecting was when he was just, it was basically the highlight of his collecting for him, the way he was describing it, because he was just soaking in all the new material, all the new artists, all the new titles, all the new writers who are producing amazing stuff, you know, and I kind of feel the same way because I'm still within the first 5 years, technically, of collecting comics, and I still feel the same way. I'm still in the stage where I'm still discovering new artwork and new characters and new artists and new stories and new writers, blah, blah, blah. Look at that.
Look at that. It's great, isn't it? Fantastic stuff, man. I noticed as I was reading the other issues that he started refining the way that he was drawing her. As even from issue 5 to issue 9, I could see a difference. I would say he started making her more rounded. In this one and in even issue 7 a little bit, especially like on her eyes. She's very aggressive looking, very sharp lines. At some points, at least. Heavy eyeliner. That's what my girlfriend said. Look at that panel. If you like Star Trek type nerd humor, where it's a lot of like one-liners and if you knew my personality, you wouldn't be saying that kind of stuff, then this is a good one for you. Or if you just like good art, as you can see, there's plenty of that too. So, I think that was it. Oh, no, this is it. Oh, God, look at that. Jeez. There's something about the way that he draws her body. It's awkward. Kind of like a Ditko sort of awkward almost with the lines. But if you look at if you don't try to judge the neatness of the drawing and instead just look at the overall impression that it leaves with you, he's very good at capturing body posture, body movement, emotion through body language, facial expressions, basically all that kind of stuff. So I freaking love this, man. My coffee's ready. I gotta turn this off. That's the end of it anyways. I'll take a little sip of coffee and be back with even more energy for the last of the goodies. That FF number 2, baby. Okay, got her out. Now, handling this particular FF number 2 of mine is always a bit of an adventure. It is in horrible condition. So much so that it's not even really a reader's copy, I wouldn't say, because handling it for reading purposes is dangerous. You gotta be super careful with it. There's lots of major problems with it, but just to make it easier on the eyes, before we go into the good stuff, since this is called Beyond the Covers, I'll be going inside here, but just to make it easier on the eyes. Dun, 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 dun. That was some bad music, but Okay. The story is awesome, man. First appearance of the Skrulls. Second appearance of all the FF, of course. He didn't quite perfect his artwork for the Thing until around the teens of FF, believe it or not. In my opinion. Flipping through this is hard. Okay, here we get our first view of the Skrulls, who have the ability to shapeshift, of course. The Super Skrull that comes in later, not in this issue, but later on in the FF, has other abilities, but the Skrulls are just shapeshifters, as you can see here. They impersonate the FF and have a plan to take over the Earth. So the FF have to save the Earth, of course, in one comic issue. But don't worry. Don't worry, kids. They are up to it. Especially this guy right here. Especially this guy. As usual, he gets a little bit out of control, and Mr. Fantastic has to calm down the Thing. I love the family dynamic of the FF. It's my favorite thing about them. The X-Men tried to emulate that and did so sort of successfully, I would say. But nothing really can compare to the original Fantastic Four. I had fun with Jack Kirby being able to draw, and they let him be creative. And you can see that his drawing dictated the story almost more so even than the actual writing by Stan Lee. You can tell, man. Look at how it's drawn. The pictures are doing all the storytelling. You don't even need to read. It's great stuff. Look at the thing, man. I love how he's drawn it there by Kirby. So this is where we were final battle scene against the Skrulls. And you know how they finally defeat the Skrulls? So you know how I said the Skrulls have the ability to morph, to shapeshift, and basically the Skrull team that comes impersonates as the Fantastic Four. And so the Fantastic Four, but really Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, is the one who comes up with the plan. Come up with the plan, the bold plan of taking the spaceship of the Skrulls back as themselves and reporting to the Master here, who you see right here. And you can see they're standing there just as themselves, but the Master just figures that the Skrulls just haven't shapeshifted back yet. And the Fantastic Four, posing as that Skrull team, reports to the Skrull leader that they can't possibly invade Earth, that their reconnaissance mission has shown that Earth is too dangerous. Look, those are some of Earth's most powerful warriors. But if you look at what he's saying here, Mr. Fantastic is saying, talk about a self-reference, huh? Read that. Yep. They defeat the Skrulls with fake clippings of monsters from Strange Tales and Journey into Mystery. That's right. In Fantastic Four #2, comics save the day. Old Atlas comics, to be specific. Love that. I've always loved that little badoop chink ending to Fantastic Four #2. Get to the last page here. Might be 2 or 3 more pages. This page is ripped to shit. Oh man, but look at the thing here. Isn't that great? Look at this. Look at that. Fantastic. Check out this pinup. Awesome, huh? And, you know, you've heard me rambling before, guys. The Thing is Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is the Thing, blah, blah, blah. I forgot that there's a little bit more. Jeez. So the Skrulls that are left on Earth are now in trouble because they were left by their leader. That's right. So it's like a second badoop chink. And look at the Skrulls, man. Isn't that great? Nice job, Mr. Kirby. I think I need 2 hands to flip the back cover. Alright, and there it is. And now that I've gone through this thing, I need to do what I need to do every time I read it, which is reinsert the detached pages. So yeah, that's a beater, but hey, there it was. Beyond the Covers. Another episode. Down and done.